So let's say you're going for a walk. With your wife and your child and the dog. And then you go, like, there was like a plaything from playground. You know, they put the child on there, it's quite young, and they were like being together. And then somebody they knew, a man with a dog, that was pulling all the time, so you could already see he didn't have the dog in charge. He wasn't in charge of the dog was more in charge of him. Or that's what the dog felt like. And the man had a child on his shoulders, and he was walking that dog. And then he saw these people that he knew, and then he just went there. And then he just dropped off his child with them and said, well, I'm just gonna leave him here and walk the dog and then come back. He never asked if it would be okay. He never asked it. But now the man was like the man that was with the woman and the child. And the woman said something, but the man didn't. And the man would be supposed to say, I think you should walk with your child on your own, right? But he didn't. So the man with the dog, he left the child, and he went with the dog. And then, like, he just walked for 500 meters, and then he probably felt shit about it because he realized, holy shit, like, I mean, maybe I was overstepping their boundaries a bit. And then he walked back. And then he barged into this scene, you know, with the woman, the man and the child, and just stood there talking to the woman, kind of ignoring the other man, the husband. And you just think, what the fuck's going on? And I say, if the man, the husband, would be in charge here, he would speak up. He would say something. But he didn't. I don't know, I feel like I have to take that. Oh shit. You see what happens now? I'm drawn apart between running to the phone and recording this video, and by rushing there, something happens. Well, I'm glad now it didn't break, because I was afraid this is actually plastic or something. But, you know, this is from my grandmother, so I also want to take care of it. So now it's also maybe because I drank coffee and ate sugar, I'm like more riled up, right? And this is also what I saw in that husband. So he was drawn apart. The reason why he's not able to say anything is because he's so uncertain about his place in the universe. He doesn't know who he is or what he's supposed to do, because it's just confusing in this society. Everybody tells you something else. A man shouldn't cry, a man should cry. Like, right? Sugar is healthy, sugar is unhealthy. We need sugar, we don't need sugar. We should eat ketogenic, we should do this, we should do that. You know, you should work like this, you should look like that, you should dress like this, you should dress like that. And then in the end you're just standing around doing nothing anymore, because all your life you've tried to make other people happy. Like the phone is ringing, oh shit, I have to take that. Well, right now I'm in the middle of recording a video. Now if my phone would ring, I would probably rush there too, because I would be afraid that I would miss the opportunity maybe to talk to somebody important. But what's the point in doing that? And that's then also, of course, the danger of drinking coffee. That you think you are like this, like agitated, you know, oh, I'm always like this, like rushing onward. No, maybe it's just because you're drinking so much coffee. But now you got used to it. You think that's you. So you continue to do that, to like rush everywhere. And you never take the time to just rest a bit and just chill down a bit. Well, if you don't do that, and if you don't take charge of yourself, then who's going to do that? Nobody. Because nobody gives a shit. You will keep doing that, what everybody else is doing, for the rest of your life, and maybe you're going to hate yourself for it, because it just shows you what a coward you actually are. You know, you're not man enough to say to another man who just drops his child off so he can walk his dog, and he doesn't even ask for it, he just states it. He just barges into your little happy family, and you don't have the balls to put him into place. And that's what you have to learn. Because he doesn't respect your pack. And as a family man, that's your pack, exactly. And if you don't manage to keep that together, and you leave it up to your wife, and then that man is standing there, leeching off and feasting on your wife's energy and love, because he was only talking to her. He was standing like this, the other man was there, and he was focused on that man's wife. I mean, what the fuck? And the other guy allowed it, and he was like, right, like a little boy, and almost like this was his father. This man could have just taken his wife now, slept with her, and he would have done nothing. He would have probably said, "Oh, poor me," right? No, instead, well, he could have done something. And the thing is, I know in my case, nobody would ever even do that. So the man that just barged into the little happy family, he already knew that he could do it, and that the man wouldn't step up. So, you know, that's already how it is. So, with me, usually, men are quite reserved, because I don't give away much. I just do my own thing. I don't really talk. So, right, they're kind of shy in my presence, because I'm somewhat intimidating. But I also make sure I am, because I know how other men are. So, like, I can also send it. It's like focus, it's energy, and that's how I play with dogs that most people are afraid of. I just engage with them, and I look, but I also say, sit. Sit. Not like an asshole, but you have to mean it. You know, if you give someone that look and you don't mean it, well, it's pointless, because they're going to sense it, and then it's just a facade. And then, you know, once your mask is dropping, they'll see what a weakling you actually are. Well, I've proven to myself throughout life that I'm not a weakling, and that I'm quite courageous, more courageous than others. It seems to be one of my, like, traits. But I've also earned it, because if I say I have courage, and I tell myself I have courage, but I don't have the courage to do things, and to learn things, and to make mistakes, then I will never be the man that I want to be. Because a man has to have courage, otherwise he's just not a real man. That's just what I say. And that's what I try to figure out. What is a real man? A man is like strong, also soft. To women, right? And to some women you have to be strong. You can also be gentle with children, but with other men you usually have to be like, because if you lose it, if you're showing weakness, they will attack you. And you can look at wolves for that. Like, how is it in a pack of wolves? You know, the alpha is the alpha until the younger ones get the better of him. And with humans it's the same thing. Because ignorant people, they're like animals. They're going to tear you apart, and that's just how it is. They're just going to come and, you know, energetically they're pissing on your lawn by stealing your wife from you. Even if it's just for 5 minutes, you allowed it to happen. And you allowed that to happen already for your whole life, because you never worked on your emotional trauma. You never learned to stand up for yourself. So in the end, it was me playing with that man's boxer, like that's a different man now, it's like quite a chubby one, and he always just sits on a bench, and his dog is just going crazy, because he has no control over the dog. He just got the dog because it looks fancy, and you know, he's got a fancy name, Tyson. But he has no control over it because all he does is sit there. I mean, the dog isn't going to respect a man that's just sitting around. He needs to have a man that's like, boom, right? Like, way! But that's not how he is. So, you know, I engage with the dog, like, I check him out, like, what are you doing? What's your game? And then I say, you know, I throw a stick and he brings it back and he runs away with it. And I say, Tyson, aus. It's like, you know, drop it. He doesn't listen. So I know actually I shouldn't go to him, he should bring it to me, but he never learned that. And I have to, you know, be a bit dominant then. So I go to the dog a bit closer and I say, aus. But I mean it. Aus. And believe it or not, that really stubborn, strong-willed dog that's just doing whatever he wants, suddenly drops the stick, and I say, sit, sit, and you can see he doesn't want it, but he also realized that my command is final. So what does he do? He sits down, and slowly I take the stick, because I don't want to rush it. He keeps sitting, I throw it, and he gets and fetches it again. And I repeated that 2 or 3 times. Now, if you have a Chihuahua, you know, people don't feel like they need to do it because they just have it on the leash and the dog can do whatever the fuck it wants. Like, but basically the dog is the alpha now. Because he's barking at everybody. He's pissing everywhere. And he's pulling you, but you don't feel he's pulling. And that's why the weakest men are probably the ones with Chihuahuas. But you also have like men that want to act strong, that have then German Shepherd, and you can realize, you know, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They just got it because the dog would make them look strong. But actually now the dog makes them look weak. It makes them look like an idiot. But the thing is, you know, they're already this kind of idiot. Because they don't realize that strength doesn't come from the outside, it comes from the inside. And that's why, you know, doing all that workout, I stopped with it because I realized what made me more strong is my focus. Mental strength. You know, I can have muscles all I want, but if I don't have the will to push through, the will to persist, the will to reach my goal, it doesn't matter how many push-ups I can do. Because what are you going to look back at in your life? Oh, I managed to do 100 push-ups. Or, bam, I was the best family man I could have been. It's like, you know, look at the scale, right? I mean, you conquered yourself and you were more focused on your heart than on your muscles. Because your muscles, they're going to go. Your heart is just going to keep growing. And more people will realize, hey man, he's honest, right? I mean, he's strong. But strong not just like this, it's more like, you know, you can carry the weight of someone without ever touching them. And that's why a family, to carry the weight of a family, of your own family, of your wife and children, you know, that's the weight you want to carry. And then depending on your job, right, you maybe have other things to carry. And for me, that's then the Love Our Children Foundation. That's the weight that I'm preparing myself to carry because this will be like global scale insane. But I know I can do it, right? I've been given this job, I know I can do it, so now I have to work myself into the position where I know now I can manage. And yes, then I drink coffee and then I eat pancakes because it keeps me going, because the least I can use now is to stop. So it's just moving forward, like boom, 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 boom. And making sure that I'm somehow okay. Because looking at my dad tells me one thing, he's maybe not in the best shape, but he manages to push through and he does it no matter what. And I just want to make it like a bit better so I don't have to repeat all of his mistakes. But you know, I also don't have to force myself to be better in everything. So, yeah, okay, right. I just drink that coffee because somehow today it helped me to record the videos that I need to record, because that's more important to me right now. But also today is a special day because I'm kind of alone here. Like my dad is not here, my mom is not here, my sister's not here. So I can use the room and I can be as free as I want to be. And that's also why right now, I don't want to work out, I don't want to dance, because I need my energy on talking, because that's like quite strenuous. Recording videos, it's quite strenuous. And I know afterwards, I can relax a bit, because writing books is actually quite relaxing. Because what will it mean for me? It will mean going more inward and talking. And maybe, I don't know what the universe or God or life has in stock for me, but it may be that, other things are going to happen that I don't yet know about. And for that I have to get rid of these videos in a way, but in a good way. So, I think this concludes the indoor session. Somehow I feel like that. I am somewhat positive that I may manage to record all 26 videos today. I don't know if I have to, but if I can, I will. Because I don't know what tomorrow is, so if I feel like I can do it still today, then why wouldn't I do it? Like, why would I just sit around and do nothing if I feel like working? So then I'd rather work, don't I? Right? So I can say, oh, it's a Sunday, so I want to slack off, but if I feel like working, then why don't I work? So that's, just stop making so many excuses and work if you feel like working, because if it, if the opposite, like, yeah, see, Scheiße. What is this? Is this like now a sign, you should continue this video? So now I have to check. Okay, so basically I can still continue because it's still recording. And maybe that was just a reminder, stay here. Or maybe it was because I'm also really trying to rush it now. And then, sometimes I have that too. I sit here and I talk, and in the middle I think, what the fuck are you even doing? Like, what are you talking about? I mean, are you completely stupid now? And yesterday the lesson with the dog was quite important to me, because I also realized, like, I can give commands. And that's important for me because I will have to give commands, because I know I need to be in charge. That's the position that my path puts me in. That's the challenge I was given, to be in charge. But for that also you have to trust yourself, because if you don't, how are others supposed to trust you? And that's why you have to also emanate some kind of calmness, right? So your energy is like calm and warm, composed, resting within yourself. And that gives stability to other men. Sometimes just when I enter the room, other men feel different. That's just how it is. I give them then stability. And some men then feel really insecure because, when they are faced with me, suddenly they don't feel like they look so tough anymore. Because they're not, they're actually not, they're just cowards. And they're weak. And it shows on the outside. And then I enter the room and somehow I have a presence. I'm some kind of, I don't know, mirror then, of course. And then they just realize, shit, I don't look as good as he does. And that's not just my facial stuff. That's just what I stand for and what I emit, right? I send this out, and it's kind of sending out truth. Open heart sends out truth. So, just walking around, opening your heart already may result in some negative feedback, because people will see themselves clearly for the first time and they won't like it. Suddenly they realize, holy shit, I'm actually quite weak and selfish. Well, and then they're trying to make you look stupid, because if you don't look stupid, then they have to look stupid. And that's of course also why, within my own family, we always talk behind other people's backs, and then it's hard also for me to not be drawn into that, because I also used to do that. It was just a habit because everybody did it. So then I had to distance myself from it and rather say nothing, or correct what other people are saying. Because bickering behind other people's backs, like gossiping, is quite negative energy. Because it will hurt someone. It's dishonest. It's dishonest as you can be. And that's then of course the same as mobbing. As soon as you talk behind someone's back, you're actually mobbing them. And yet people just do that. And often it's one person. Often it's one person that sets the tone for communication in a group. And it's not just women, it's also men that do that. And it's usually the weakest one of all of them that has some kind of evil tendencies. And they just keep picking on others, and the others just join in. And I don't know why it happens like this, but it's often people who really hate themselves, and they just project that hatred onto everybody else, and then other people just come, and because the one person loves hating so much, they join into the hate, because then at least, they are kind of in favor of that person, because you can be an asshole, but you can also be like a strong asshole, right? And if you don't like me, I'm gonna pick on you too. But the result is everybody's just talking behind each other's backs. And that's just shit. And they say they like their job or something, working in a supermarket. I don't think anybody truly loves working in a supermarket. I don't think so. I don't know, I just have the feeling, at least I can understand why somebody would really love that. I mean, the place where you are, where you live and where you work, is basically the way you feel about yourself. And if this is the highest potential you can reach working in a supermarket, then you don't think very good of yourself, I believe. And of course that's quite judgmental, but I mean, if this is the highest thing you can reach in your life, well then just accept it then. Maybe that's just you, but I actually believe that every person could reach something different. But for that we have to have the framework, because not everybody maybe has the abilities that I have, because most people that would have been born in this kind of family, they would have just worked, the job that their dad expected them to work, because it would have given them security, and they would have felt good doing what other people expect of them. And I just learned to live outside of people's expectations, and just learned to live within my heart more. And that then of course means that other people will dislike you, like your own father, because you don't listen to him anymore, and you don't help him, because you help yourself. But yeah, I mean, it's family, so in a way, they say they're family and we always stick together, then show me that. And stop forcing me to do stuff that I don't want to do, because it makes you feel good or accomplished. And you can say, my son is an engineer, right? Because my dad never was one. And he always looked up to engineers. I mean, it's just shit. Because in the end, an engineer is probably, it's just a title. You're as lazy as everybody else. You just earn more money with it. That's the kind of system we live in. You know, just your title entitles you to earn more money. And then you can buy titles, of course. And then you're a politician. And because you have the title of being politician, what, you're better than others now? And I have to do what you say? No, I don't. And of course then, you know, once more, you have to be smart about it. So running around defining government property, which doesn't exist, but you know, they claim it's theirs, it's kind of stupid. So you have to think of ways, you know, how can I use my abilities to do graffiti? How can I do something with it that I can earn a living? Because, you know, you don't have to run around and spray stuff. No, you can actually start doing that on your computer, or you can start making art with it, but you should be smart enough to figure out how to use your creativity in a constructive way that helps others to do similar things and to earn money with it. Because if you don't, like, look at all these cool kids from school that did graffitis and, you know, they were like cool, already smoking weed, you know, breaking some rules. Well, in the end, they just turned out like everybody else. They just got a job like everybody else because they didn't persist. And I wasn't really cool in school. I was quite small and stuff. But I just learned to do what I wanted to do, and that took courage. So I wasn't really courageous as a child. I was really scared of everything. And now I play with boxes like boom, 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 because I work with my fears. I was persistent. And now I do something like graffitis, you could say, only I use my mouse. So I don't have to like spray stuff. Although a part of me thinks, you know, maybe one day I will do it. But then I think it's kind of toxic. But I mean, using laptop is also toxic. Everything's toxic nowadays, isn't it? Like, colors and the stuff is probably all toxic. Maybe this is better. So, I mean, it's quite impossible nowadays to do natural kind of work. So to me, it comes natural to work on a computer, but it's still kind of unnatural to work with a computer, because, I mean, what is that? It's just some kind of black thing, and you turn it on, you're kind of like sucked into a world that doesn't exist. I mean, as soon as I leave the house, the world is more real than anything I see in that thing. But I know that many people are trapped in this box. And to free people, you know, this is how you connect with them. Through that kind of black screen. And, you know, this is how I can share what I want to do. And I think it's important to do that. It's quite important to do that, to be persistent. And then you just have to see what will come out of it. And that's probably the point of, you know, believing in yourself. You believe in yourself. It means, you know, I believe I can do it. I actually believe that I can do it, and nobody else believes that I can do it, which is to free myself of the matrix. And the matrix is then, of course, all these lies that people tell you. You know, who you are and what you ought to be, and, you know, what you can and cannot do. It's like, oh, you cannot earn money like this, you know, just writing books isn't enough. Just doing, well, other people have managed, so why shouldn't I, right? So stop telling me what I can't do, and just leave me alone, right? Because you're probably, you know, if I would succeed, you just would feel more miserable about yourself because you didn't manage. But you're trying to act like it. Well, you know, I'm earning a lot of money. Well, it doesn't make you happy, right? So first I was looking for happiness, and then the money came by itself. You know, I wasn't really going after